Our journey begins in a sprawling commercial apiary, where thousands of bees work among fields of blooming wildflowers.
A beekeeper approaches the hives fully suited. Protection is essential when working this close to active colonies.
Gentle smoke from the smoker calms the bees. It triggers their instinct to consume honey, making them docile.
The outer lid is carefully lifted. Inside, frames heavy with honey await harvest.
Removing the inner cover reveals the prize. Frames packed with golden honeycomb, sealed and ready.
Each cell is capped with beeswax, nature's seal that locks in freshness and prevents fermentation.
Bees cling to their work and must be gently brushed away without harming them or damaging the comb.
Lifted into the light, the frame reveals the translucent amber glow of perfectly ripened honey.
Harvested frames are placed immediately into protective transport boxes to shield them from contamination.
Frame by frame, the box fills. A single hive can yield dozens of kilograms in peak season.
The sealed box is loaded carefully. From here, it's a short journey to the processing facility.
Electric carts glide silently through the apiary, transporting the day's harvest toward extraction.
At the factory, trucks deliver fresh honeycomb within hours of harvest to preserve quality.
Workers unload each box with care. Honeycomb is fragile and easily damaged under rough handling. Quality inspectors examine every batch. Visual checks reveal frame condition and detect any contamination early.
A moisture meter tests the wax cappings. Honey below 18% moisture is shelf-stable and safe.
Data is logged for full traceability. Each batch is tracked from hive to finished jar. Approved boxes enter a climate-controlled room. Temperature and humidity are carefully managed here. Frames are stood upright in metal racks. This orientation prevents comb collapse during handling. The racks roll toward the uncapping line, where the first mechanical process begins.
At the uncapping station, frames are positioned for wax cap removal, a delicate but essential step.
Each frame is inspected. Only fully capped cells contain ripe honey ready for extraction.
The frame slides into alignment. Precision guides ensure even contact with the heated blade. A heated blade glides across the surface, slicing through the wax cappings in one smooth motion. The frame is flipped, and the process repeats. Both sides must be fully uncapped.
Removed cappings fall onto a mesh conveyor. This wax will be cleaned and repurposed later. Now exposed, the honeycomb cells reveal their liquid contents: pure, unfiltered honey. Uncapped frames are loaded into cylindrical extraction baskets. Balance is critical for centrifugal efficiency. A second frame joins the first. The basket holds multiple frames arranged in a radial pattern.
Loading continues until the basket is full. Even weight distribution prevents wobbling during extraction.
The basket is locked securely. Any movement during high-speed spinning could damage frames or equipment.
Meanwhile, the wax cappings are collected. They contain residual honey and will be processed separately.
A hoist lifts the heavy basket toward the extractor. Precision placement ensures smooth operation.
The basket descends into the stainless steel drum, a centrifuge designed specifically for honeycomb.
The extractor lid seals tightly. Safety interlocks prevent operation unless fully closed.
At the press of a button, the extraction cycle begins. Automation ensures consistency across every batch. The drum spins slowly at first, gradually building speed to avoid breaking the delicate comb.
Centrifugal force pulls honey from the cells. Physics does the work, no crushing or pressing required.
Honey sprays outward, coating the drum walls before gravity pulls it downward. At the conical base, honey pools and funnels toward the central collection valve.
At full speed, the extraction reaches peak efficiency. Nearly all honey is removed in minutes.
The machine decelerates smoothly. Sudden stops could damage the now empty comb structure. Once stopped, the lid is opened. The process is complete, fast, and remarkably efficient. The basket is lifted free. Inside, the frames are dry but intact, ready to return to the hive.
Empty frames are removed and set aside. Bees will refill them in the next flowering cycle. The bottom valve opens. Gravity does the rest.
Raw honey flows into collection buckets. It's thick, fragrant, and rich with natural particles.
Visible wax fragments and tiny air bubbles swirl in the honey. Filtration will remove these impurities.
The bucket is carried to the straining station. Speed matters. Honey can begin crystallizing if left too long. A coarse mesh strainer catches large debris. This is the first of several filtration stages.
Chunks of wax and propolis accumulate on the mesh. These are natural but must be removed.
Below, honey flows steadily into a tall settling tank, where gravity will continue the purification. Trapped debris is scraped away and collected. Even waste wax has value in cosmetics and candles. Bucket after bucket is poured. The settling tank slowly fills with golden liquid. When the marked level is reached, pouring stops. Overfilling reduces settling efficiency.
A vented lid is placed on top. Air can escape, but contaminants cannot enter.
Over the next 12 hours, air bubbles rise slowly to the surface, a natural clarification process.
Fine wax particles also float upward, forming a thin foam layer at the top.
The surface layer is carefully skimmed away. What remains below is clearer and purer.
The honey beneath is now bubble-free, visibly clearer, and ready for the next stage.
A sample is lifted and inspected. Viscosity reveals whether the honey has begun to crystallize. This batch shows granulation, a natural process, but one that must be reversed before bottling. Honey is transferred into a jacketed heating tank designed for gentle, controlled warmth.
It flows smoothly through stainless piping. Sanitary design prevents contamination at every step.
Warm water circulates through the tank's outer jacket. Indirect heat protects delicate enzymes and flavor.
Temperature climbs slowly to 40 degrees Celsius, warm enough to liquefy, cool enough to preserve quality.
A motorized paddle stirs gently. Even heat distribution prevents hot spots that could degrade the honey. Crystals dissolve gradually. The honey returns to its smooth, liquid state over the course of hours.
Temperature holds steady. Precision control is the difference between liquefaction and damage.
Once fully liquefied, heating stops. The honey is now ready for fine filtration. The bottom valve opens, releasing the warm honey into the filtration system. Honey enters a fine mesh filter assembly. This removes particles down to 200 microns.
The filter cloth catches microscopic wax and pollen. Flow is slow but thorough. Crystal clear honey drips into a clean collection tank. The transformation is visible. Operators monitor flow rate closely. A clogged filter slows production and signals replacement.
The filtered honey is flawless, transparent, smooth, and ready for quality verification. The tank is sealed and labeled with batch details. Traceability is maintained at every step. The tank rolls toward the lab. Before bottling, every batch must pass rigorous testing.
In the quality lab, a technician draws a precise sample into a sterile beaker.
A refractometer measures moisture content. High moisture can lead to fermentation and spoilage. The display reads 17.2%, well within the safe range for long-term storage.
Results are recorded immediately. Documentation ensures compliance with food safety standards.
Color grading follows. The Fund scale classifies honey from water white to dark amber.
This sample matches light amber. Color indicates floral source and influences market value. A pH meter tests acidity. Honey's natural acidity inhibits bacterial growth.
All parameters pass. The batch is approved and cleared for bottling.
The bottling line stands ready, a synchronized system of conveyors, nozzles, and sensors. A pallet of empty glass jars arrives. Each jar will soon carry honey to tables worldwide. A forklift positions the pallet precisely at the depalletizer infeed point.
Automated depalletizer robotic arm lifts layer of jars onto conveyor.
Jars glide forward in a smooth line toward the rinsing station.
Inverted air jets blast dust from each jar interior. Even microscopic particles are removed.
Clean jars continue their journey toward the filling station, perfectly spaced and aligned. The approved honey tank is connected to the filling machine. Hoses lock into place securely.
The machine activates. Filling nozzles descend into standby, awaiting the first jar.
The first jar reaches the filling station and stops precisely beneath the nozzle.
A volumetric piston draws exactly 500 grams of honey from the tank.
The nozzle lowers gently into the jar opening. Contact filling reduces air incorporation.
Honey flows smoothly in a golden stream. The fill is controlled, consistent, and precise.
The sensor confirms the exact fill weight of 500 grams. Once the target is reached, the nozzle immediately retracts. The filled jar moves forward. Another takes its place immediately. Rhythm is everything. Jar after jar, the cycle repeat. Automation ensures uniformity across thousands of units.
A procession of filled jars advances steadily toward the capping station.
Backlit by factory lights, the honey glows like amber gemstones in glass.
At the capping station, metal lids wait in a gravity-fed hopper. One by one, lids drop perfectly onto each jar. Timing is synchronized to the millisecond. A rotating head descends, applying calibrated torque to seal each lid without over-tightening.
Capped jars exit the station. The seal is airtight, but still awaits a tamper-evident band. A plastic safety band wraps around each lid, a consumer safeguard and regulatory requirement.
The jar passes through a heat tunnel. Controlled warmth shrinks the band snugly into place. Emerging from the tunnel, the band is fused tight. Any tampering will now be visible.
An inspector checks cap tightness at random intervals. Quality assurance never stops.
One jar is inverted briefly. No leaks. The seal is perfect.
Satisfied, the inspector returns the jar to the line. Production flows on.
Sealed jars advance toward the labeling machine. Soon, they'll carry the brand's identity. A roll of pre-printed labels feeds into the applicator. Design, nutrition facts, and traceability codes are all included. Each jar rotates on a turntable. The label is positioned with millimeter precision. A pressure roller smooths the label firmly against the glass, eliminating bubbles and wrinkles. Labeled jars move to the coating station. Batch traceability is now applied.
An inkjet printer marks each jar with batch number, production date, and expiration.
The code reads clearly, best before date and batch identifier, essential for recalls and traceability.
A vision camera scans every code. Any smudge or misprint triggers automatic rejection.
Approved jars continue. Rejects are diverted for relabeling. Nothing is wasted.
Finished jars approach the cartoning area. Individual units will now become retail-ready cases.
Flat carton blanks are lifted from a magazine by vacuum suction cups. The blank is folded and glued in seconds, forming a sturdy open-top box shape. The carton moves into position, perfectly timed with the incoming jars. A robotic arm picks 6 jars simultaneously and lowers them gently into the carton. Flaps fold over the tops and are sealed with hot melt adhesive. The carton is now closed.
The carton exits labeled and sealed. Premium honey, 6 jars, 500 grams each. A final visual inspection confirms seal integrity and label visibility before the carton moves on.
Cartons accumulate on a buffer conveyor, grouping for efficient palletizing.
A palletizing robot lifts a precise layer of cartons and positions them on a wooden pallet. Layer by layer, the pallet grows. Each layer interlocks for stability during transport. The pallet is complete. 30 cartons stacked neatly, totaling 180 jars.
An automated stretch wrapper rotates the pallet, encasing it in clear protective film.
The wrap is tight and secure. The pallet can now withstand shipping and handling.
A forklift operator lifts the finished pallet with smooth precision.
The pallet is transported into the climate-controlled warehouse, where temperature stability is maintained.
It's placed into racking, joining hundreds of others awaiting distribution orders.
At the loading dock, a refrigerated truck backs carefully into the bay.
Forklifts load pallet after pallet. Each represents thousands of jars destined for stores nationwide.
The driver secures the load with ratchet straps, then seals the truck for departure.
The truck merges onto the highway, carrying honey toward regional distribution centers. Hours later, it arrives at a regional hub, a key node in the supply chain.
Pallets are unloaded and sorted by destination. Speed and accuracy define modern logistics.
A smaller van is loaded with cartons for local delivery to neighborhood grocery stores.
The van pulls up to a supermarket. The final leg of the journey begins.
Workers wheel cartons into the back room. Shelves will be restocked within the hour.
A retail associate unpacks the cartons carefully, handling each jar with care.
Jars are arranged on the shelf, labels facing forward, ready for customers to discover.
A shopper reaches out, picks up a jar, and reads the label with interest. The jar rests in the shopping cart, a simple choice, but the result of an intricate process. At checkout, the jar is scanned and bagged. The transaction is complete. At home, morning sunlight glows through the jar. A spoon drizzles golden honey onto warm toast, nature's sweetness delivered.